September. Chapter 34. Elisa knew exactly how Peggy was able to manage to get movers to work on the Saturday of Labor Day weekend. The jumbo check Elisa had already written out solved that mystery. At the Moscow men made their trips back and forth to the moving van, Elisa was thankful the day wasn't too hot. The sky was blue and cloudless, and the sun was strong, but the air was clear, and a cooling breeze blew intermittently. Standing in her elegant front hallway, Elisa directed the movers on which room to go to with which pieces of furniture. Her mahogany table and Chinese Chippendale-style chairs, which had fit so well in her apartment, looked lost in the cavernous dining room. The large living room could easily accommodate two sofas rather than the one she had brought from New York, and the walls. They were expensive. What was she going to hang on them? She struggled. At this point, she really did not care how long it took to get the house together. As long as Jenny's bedroom was in order, the guest room made comfortable for Catherine and Paul, the clothes organized in Elisa's closet, and as long as they got things set up and put away in the kitchen, the rest could wait. In fact, it would be fun to shop for antiques and choose wallpapers on the weekends. It may fill the time and keep her from thinking about Meg. Jenny wouldn't like it much, though. Elisa wandered into the sunny kitchen and looked out the picture window into the backyard. Her daughter was happily splashing away in the pool with Catherine and Paul, standing at the side, praising their granddaughter's every jellyfish float while washing her like hogs. Elisa made a mental note that she would have to get some pool furniture, too. Meanwhile, she carried two of the dining room chairs outside so that her in-laws would have some place to sit. Catherine and Paul weren't kids, and she could only imagine how much strain they had been under. But never once did Elisa get even the tiniest hint they resented the fact that taking care of Jenny had taken over their lives. She and Jenny were so blessed to have them. "How is it going in there?" Paul asked, wisps of his pure white hair blowing gently in the breeze. "They're just about finished bringing everything in," Elisa answered, sinking tiredly into the deck and stretching out her long, capri-clad legs on the warm Tennessee cramstone. "Anybody have any questions about what we should do for dinner tonight? We could go out somewhere or we could order in Chinese," she offered. "Chinese, Chinese," cheered Jenny for the pool. "I want wonton soup and sesame chicken." Elisa was a little embarrassed at how often her daughter had eaten takeout food delivered by the Chinese restaurant around the corner from their apartment. Usually on Sundays, when they crammed in a day full of activities, because Elisa felt guilty about how much she was gone the rest of the week, it was just easier to pick up the phone and place an order. Elisa recalled the Sunday dinners she had when she was growing up in Rhode Island. Her mother roasting a chicken or leg of lamb, baking potato, snapping fresh green beans. Jenny wouldn't have those memories, but Elisa could solve herself with the fact that Jenny had been exposed to more cultural opportunities in her first 5 years of life than Elisa had in her first 20. They will have a quieter life out here on the weekends, Elisa reflected, closing her eyes and turning her face upward toward the late afternoon sun. She resolved to ask Mr. Garcia to make sure the refrigerator was well stocked when she left on Friday evenings, and Elisa vowed to start cooking Sunday dinners. But the big meals would be prepared just for her and Jenny. She bit the inside of her mouth as she wondered what Mac was doing right now, calculating the time difference between them and realizing that he will be going to bed soon. Hello? The four at the pool turned toward the boys and watched as a trim, attractive brunette carrying a tray and a little dark-haired boy carrying a big bunch of black-eyed Susans walked in their direction from the side of the house. Alyssa rose to her feet and smiled as mother and son approached. Hi, I'm Susan Feeney, and this is my son James. We live across the street and we wanted to welcome you to the neighborhood and invited you to a barbecue we're having tomorrow. I thought it may be a good way for you to meet some of the neighbors. Susan balanced the tray in one hand as she reached out to shake Alyssa's with the other. That's so sweet of you, exclaimed Alyssa, holding on to Susan's warm, firm grip. So many women, Alyssa knew, gave the Olympus handshake, lacking any confidence whatever. Score one for Susan. After introducing Catherine and Paul to her new neighbors, Alyssa pointed to the pool. And this is Jenny, my 5 years old. James's green eye winded it. I'm five too. Are you starting kindergarten this week? Alyssa asked, knowing the answer as Susan winked at her. The boy nodded emphatically. At the Hooks Public School? Yup. Whoa, that's great. Jenny is starting there too. You'll be in the same class. James thrust his bucket into Alyssa's hand and headed toward the swimming pool as Alyssa called out her thanks after him. Laughing, she turned to Susan and asked if James would like to go for a swim. Gee, thanks, Susan responded, but James, my husband, is home with our other two kids. Kimberly is 3 and Cole is 2. So he has his hands full over there. I've got to get back, but I just wanted to introduce myself and drop this over. Elisa put the flowers down on the lawn in order to take the golden cake Susan presented. I hope you like pineapple. We do. It looks scrumptious. Thank you so much. You're so welcome. And if there's anything at all I can do, just let me know. I can show you the lay of the land around here, and I'll be driving James to and from school every day. If you'd like me to pick up Jenny, I'll be glad to. There's a God, thought Lisa. If nothing else, it was reassuring to know she will have a backup if for some reason Jenny's grandparents or later Mr. Garcia couldn't pick up after school. Elisa planned to drop Jenny off herself in the mornings before she headed into Manhattan. She was tempted to ask Susan if she was interested in forming a carpool, but she thought better of it for the moment. She wanted to get Jenny quietly settled in the new house and the new school before she made any commitments. At the water's edge, James was pulling off his green and white striped t-shirt, ready to jump. If you have to get back, James can stay and take a swim, Elisa offered. It would be great for Jenny to make a first new friend. Gosh, you've got so much to do. Susan cocked her head to the side skeptically. You don't need another child to watch. Elisa looked at Catherine and Paul. No problem at all, shimmered Paul. Alright, if you are sure about this, James can swim in his sport shorts, and I'll be back in half an hour to pick up him. picked him up. Alice escorted Susan across the grass toward the front of the house. I'll invite you in for a tour, but there isn't much to see yet. Susan's smiling mouth fell at the corners. I know the house very well already, she sighed. The Richardeses were such wonderful people. I miss them so much. We moved into our house 3 years ago on Good Fridays of all days. The house was a mess, boxes all over the place. I was pregnant with Kimberly and I had promised James we would dye Easter eggs. Even though he was only 2, he was so excited about it. But when I went to turn on the stove for the first time, it didn't work, so I couldn't boil the eggs. James cried and cried. The two women stopped in the driveway as Susan finished her story. But the funniest, there's thing happened. On Easter morning, the doorbell rang. It was Mr. Richard welcoming us and carrying a basket of colored eggs she had dyed and decorated. Of course, she had no idea that the stuff was on the wrist. It was just a coincidence that she brought those eggs over. But I always felt it was some kind of good sign or something, like we were getting off to a good start in our new home. Elisa nodded. You coming over here with James make me feel the same way. Thank you. Susan smiled and started down the driveway while bringing up what had happened to the Richeses. If Elisa ever wanted to ask her about it, Susan would tell her what she knew. But today was her first day in her new home. It shouldn't be a happy day.